All right, everybody, this will be one last quick one here. I kind of left some things out. This will be a warning to all politicians. I'm running for president 2024, part 123C. Got into talking about society and what's it all about, and living the role. And I guess right now, whether he meant it well, I'm not even sure he wrote the song, because I've been seeing some things where it was actually Randy Rhoads and one of the other band members who wrote the lyrics for Ozzy Osbourne's Crazy Train. But the media sells it, and you live the role. And doesn't necessarily just mean news media, Hollywood, everything, lifestyles. You can look at fads and trends and things that come and go and stuff. I mean, I've always said, when television was invented and they put the first commercial on and everyone went out and bought that shit, the powers that be kind of all looked at each other and said, "We got him by the balls now." Just put it on TV. We got him by the balls now. So, I look at, I've worked hard my whole life, most of my whole life. There was a few lapses in there where I didn't do the best that I could. And when I was younger, anyhow, I look at a lot of things now, and like I said, I spent some money on myself. And then something like this happens where I'm broke down for a week, and I'm like, oh shit. There's a lot of people in my predicament. Don't waste a lot of money. But it can all fall apart quickly. Doesn't take much these days. And you pass these homeless people on the corners and shit, man. I really don't have much of a safety net. I mean, because if you're not working, even if you've got, 20 grand in the bank, that goes quick. $1,000 is like $100 anymore, you ask me. But, I put in, 15-hour days, pretty much 7 days a week, for weeks at a time. And, I'm kind of like, what am I doing wrong? I don't blow a lot of money. And I'll pass all these people like on the weekends leaving LA, heading up to Vegas, or you see them, they got their big SUV and they're towing a boat and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, where are these people getting this money from to just go and blow all the time? Where's it coming from? And I know there's a lot of people out there who have, hey, had the house. She had a car. I had my pickup. I am a big fan. I had Dodge Dakota. She had a little Pontiac Grand Am, what have you. Had some other newer cars before that, but we had the house. We had decent furniture. Went out and bought decent furniture. And had credit in debt up to my eyeballs. And until things fall apart, you really, I mean, maybe sometimes it takes that to wake you up. Maybe some of these people I see, with all these expenditures and stuff, or the big RVs and stuff and everything, hey, maybe they really got it. Maybe they made some investments or whatever. Having more power to them. But I'm talking like just, average working people. Who don't get to go and do those types of things, who are working their asses off going, what the hell am I doing wrong? Every month's a struggle to pay the bills and get by and all that and everything. And you see the homeless people, and it's, I believe in some social programs to have a sort of a safety net. I mean, I know there's people out there who are totally no social programs. The strong survive. You live your life smartly, or what happens to you because of your own fault of doing things stupidly. But when economies collapse and there's no jobs, or they send the jobs, not even the economy collapsing, they send the jobs to China or to Mexico or other places, and things that are outside of your control, all of a sudden things change. Your company's laying off, or they're closing down completely, or what have you. And then you're left scrambling trying to make ends meet because you have all these responsibilities to meet. You're worried about losing your house, and one of the big reasons for divorce are financial problems, and struggle and stress. I mean, it's like they say, you really tell who your friends are when you're down and out. But you look at that happening, and granted, a lot of people make mistakes and they try and keep up with the Joneses. But there's a whole nother class of working people there who aren't like that, aren't trying to keep up with the Joneses. They're just trying to get ahead and maybe have a nice thing here or there. And then, the politicians sell you out, and, the Wall Street sells you out, and they send the jobs where they can get cheaper labor and this and that, or less regulation and stuff. And, like I said, it don't affect all the people on top, whether they're on the left or the right. It don't affect them. And then, a lot of people are ended up filing bankruptcy or losing everything. And then they change the bankruptcy laws, you can't file on this or that or what have you anymore. And it really puts some worry and stress on people. And that there's nothing to help them. I mean, I often look at, like mortgage. You got a mortgage you're paying on a house. Things happen and they come to foreclose on it. It's, you might have paid into the house for 10 years. And they're gonna take it away and you get nothing out of the deal. And it's like the percentage that goes to the principal and the percentage that goes to the end, they want all their money back first. You have no equity, unless there's still a market. Maybe you can sell your house and make some equity at it before they foreclose on it and take it from you. But even if they do foreclose and take it on you, there ought to be something where, because they're going to resell it, you should be able to recoup some of your money. I mean, it's like I had she had a car, and we paid on it, and it got time to the end of the note. Well, there was a couple times she deferred during Christmas, so we actually owed like 2 more payments. And the guy from the credit union calls and says, "Hey, we need you to pay all 3 of those payments this month. It's the end of the note, blah, blah, blah." And I said, "Well, I can't do that. I didn't know about it, and we'll just, pay the next 2 months." No, the contract, the loan, term of the loan it's got to be paid by now. If you don't pay this, we're going to come and take the car. I said, "Look, man," because this was a guy I hadn't dealt with. He was somebody new in the credit union. And I said, "You're trying to tell me I pay for 99% of this car, and you're going to come and take it from me because I owe you $600? And I asked him, I said, "What branch are you at?" And he told me, or he said, "Why?" And I said, "Because I'm going to bring it to you, and I'm going to park it on your goddamn desk and light it on fire. You ain't stealing from me." So what do you mean stealing from you? You owe us the money and this and that. I pay 99% of it off. You're going to take it and then sell it at some auction for, half of what it's worth. And, I've paid pretty much, I actually paid the principal off and everything. you know, I've paid twice with this, you know, with the interest and all that. Well, not maybe it wasn't twice. The interest wasn't that high on it, but, you know, you pay 50% more, you know, the car's worth 12 or 15, whatever, when you bought it. By the time you're done, you know, you paid 18 or 20 or whatever it works out to be. So you've paid for it, you know, and that's the same with your house. Wait a minute, I paid into this 10 years. I don't have any stake in this at all? So those types of laws need to be changed. It's just totally unfair. Somebody gets into some kind of financial trouble, they have some kind of health problem, and, you know, the bank's or the mortgage company's going to come and take the house, etc., etc. Well, wait a minute. I've got, you know, money into this. I should be entitled to some of that. If you're going to take it and resell it and start the whole process over and make yourselves even more money, I should get something out of the deal. So, and all these things go to Congress of not taking care of things, and it also goes to people being dumbed down and not even thinking about these things or any kinds of these types of reforms. I mean, you know, there's plenty of, you know, they'll give welfare and food stamps and all this types of stuff to people who've never tried, you know, dopers, what have you. But for the man or the woman that has tried, and then because of things outside of their control or what have you, are going to end up down at the bottom again and lose, you know, maybe end up, you know, they get divorced and, you know, because I'm sure there's more a woman with kids can get on her own in welfare and stuff like that than like if a family and there was still a man in the family and stuff. So I'm for different types of reform to where it's harder, you know, for you to end up losing everything you work for. I mean, there's people who are out there homeless now for their own fault that have never cared about shit, have been in and out of prison. They, you know, they've never tried. They don't care about trying. Whatever, they have no ambition or no goals in life. You know, and that's, I talk about, you know, people in this country talk about they're oppressed and, you know, they're living off government programs and stuff, and, you know, and smoking their weed and going through McDonald's and shit. And it's like, take a look around the world. You want to see real oppression. But there's another type of oppression in this country, and it's on people like me and you who work our asses off and really don't see any real benefit to it, or you're still living on the edge of where, you know, hey, this could all fall apart pretty quick. And a lot of that has to do, we've come to accept the amount of taxes that we pay, and we've come to accept the way mortgages are done, and we've come to accept all these things that are bullshit. And maybe people in Congress know or they don't know that it's bullshit. You know, you can get behind on your taxes and they'll penalize you and place interest on you and all kinds of shit and make it harder for you. Harder. They're making it harder for you to get out from underneath that debt. That is not right. That is not right. You know, they take your money in income taxes, the state and the feds, you know, and then they're going to tax you on money you spend. You got your sales taxes. You know, and they tax the hell out of business and everything, small business. I can remember, like I said, I can relate to my son's situation. I really can. I don't know if I ever conveyed that to him well enough, that, you know, because just spoke to him this evening. And, you know, he said his mother and his girlfriend were on him about getting a job. And it's like, number one, location. You're living in Malfunction Junction, so he's going to have to, you know, find a job either and commute to Phoenix or you know, Scottsdale or someplace anyway to begin with. That's making it harder. COVID's making it harder. If they're going to shut everything down again, that's making it harder. He's only got so many options, and I've been there. And man, I felt low as shit. I mean, because I started working when I was 14, and for me to be without a job, man, that was like, I felt worthless as anything. I mean, absolutely positive. I finally left Jersey, as much as I didn't want to leave my girlfriend and, you know, and my friends and stuff. And I got to do something. I got to get the hell out of here. I'm going nuts, man. You know, I can't get a job. I got no money in my pocket. I'm looking at, I'm like, when's it going to end? When, you know, I had to get out of there. And, I could have made some wiser decisions once I did, and maybe done my life a lot better and stuff. I regret that kind of stuff. And fortunately, so far, my son hasn't done that and got involved in all the kind of crap I have. But he's not afraid to work. He's a good worker. The jobs he has had, he's done well at. He does well in school. He has a good head on his shoulders. He know what he wants to do. What kind of career track he wants to have. It's just a matter right now, there's these roadblocks in his way that he has nothing to do with. You know, he can't control the fact that they stopped classes. He can't control the fact that, you know, nobody's hiring because they're all being shut down. You know, so I've been there in that situation. Some people just accept that situation. Hey, I'm just gonna go get welfare, unemployment, food stamps, and, you know, go smoke dope all day. Fortunately, he's not like that. And so when I look at, you know, all these programs, they'd rather give people money to be like that, to not even look for work. You know, and I think people don't realize, you know, when they talk about, hey, they want to bring these, you know, they're playing a mind game on you. Oh, you're evil, you're racist because you won't allow these immigrants in and all this and everything. Like they're doing these people a favor. The only people they're doing a favor for are those who want to hire cheap labor. You understand? They're not. I mean, and that's why they're so big on we'll pay people not to stay home and not work because they want to send the jobs to other countries. So that the corporate people, the lobbyists and stuff who are lining these politicians' pockets can make money. Do you understand that? That's why if Biden changes everything around and taxes go back up, you're screwed. You are screwed. They're selling you a utopia and telling you they're doing something for you and doing something for these people and this. They're not doing anything. And it's really ironic because you got Antifa and all these people lining up on the left, and it's like, do they forget Antifa and all that and shut down Wall Street happened on Obama when he was president? Do you understand that? That the main thing was, you know, hey, Wall Street's getting rich and the people are getting poorer because there aren't any fucking jobs. That was the whole thing behind that. And here they are, they're lining up with Biden, who says, I'm going to go back to that. Instead of lining up with Trump, who says, hey, I'm gonna give you jobs and stuff. Oh, you're doing for the corporations, this and that and everything. There's nothing wrong with a corporation who's going to build a factory somewhere near you or something, or give you a job and give you an avenue to improve your life. Nothing wrong with that. Now, if it's a big subsidized thing, yeah, there's something wrong with that. But if they make it easier for you yourself to work someplace, get a little money, and you can decide maybe to go to open your own business. But you can't if you're taxed Number one, you can't if there's no jobs anyway. And then even if there are jobs, if you're taxed up to your fucking eyeballs to where anything you want, you have to get on credit, you're never going to save any money to invest or to put away for your retirement or to start your own business or anything. And people in this country just, and here's, they talk about oppression. You're paying all these taxes. You're the one that's oppressed. You don't realize it. Because like I say, the guy, who says they're oppressed, they're living off all kinds of social shit and smoking their weed and going to McDonald's and got an EBT card and all this. They can't understand absolute real oppression. They never look around the world or study anything, what's going on around the world. All they want to hear is the politician telling them, or the activist telling them, yeah, man, they're holding you down, this and that. No, it's not the dope and the mental attitude you got that's holding you down. It's not that. Or the choices you make. None of that has anything. It's some external force. Not that there can't be. Like I said, the economy, them sending jobs, those, I'm talking about those real forces. Those are the real forces. It's not some imaginary white privilege shit. You understand that? Let's talk about the real forces on why you can't get ahead. A lot has to do with your own decisions, and a lot has to do with decisions politicians like Biden and other people make to make it harder, for business to do business here, whether they say it's global warming or whatever it is. They're all doing it so that the people at the top make more money. Cheap labor and sending the jobs overseas, people at the top make more money. They line the politicians' pockets who spiel this. It's all an infomercial. Spiel this bullshit to keep you blinded to the truth and keep them in power. But on the other hand, the working people who are busting their asses and still hanging by a thread and worry about ending up losing everything and being homeless, you can say there's a lot of choices they make, getting into too much debt, not saving when they could have and stuff and everything. But there's also the fact you're paying an arm and a leg in taxes, and you're blinded by the material things you have on credit. And hey, it's the land of entertainment, man. You got Disneyland, you got sports, you got all kinds of movies and all kinds of entertainment to keep you from understanding that you're being oppressed. Sometimes it might take that shaking up to where you start losing everything, to where you go, wait a minute. What the hell, man? There's some things that need to be tweaked here that aren't fair in the system. Now, I'm on board with people say, hey, there's something wrong with the system. We need to tweak some stuff out. But I'm not on board with bullshit about, white privilege and America's racist and this and that. It's like with immigration. Hey, number one, you got people here who are on the left who want cheap labor for their corporate bosses and Wall Street. And you also have nations like Mexico who don't do anything for their people. Nothing. And then they put this spiel out there, this hocus pocus out there. Well, here's what the problem is. America's racist, and America does, you don't like Mexicans and this and that and everything like this. And they feed it to Mexicans and try and have a discussion with somebody who's Mexican, who's been fed all this crap, and you're just a racist for trying to tell them, hey, we have to do something. We can't keep going on like this. Oh no, you're just a racist. No, it's not about racism. I could care, it could be millions of white people from Europe coming in here illegally, working for as cheap labor, taking our jobs and stuff and everything. I'd be just as, alarmed about that as I am about people from Latin America spilling up here. Oh, you're just afraid of the browning of America. No, I'm afraid of the ideologies that are coming. And I'm afraid of the tax burden. And I'm afraid of the whole mindset of the country being pulled into the socialist crap because a lot of that, for some reason, John Stossel had a thing on there. There was I don't know if he was Mexican or what, but he was Latino, politician in New York, and Stossel was talking to him about, they passed all these laws about you can't get a certain size sodas and stuff like this up there and everything. And so John Stossel's grilling him, and it's like, this guy's like a dictator, that he has the right to tell you, if you can have a soda or not. And it's like, what is it with Latinos once they get into power? You look at South America and Central America and Mexico, anything, Cuba, they all talk, I know Mussolini is Italian, but they all got that dictatorial, type attitudes. Once they're elected, it's like they forget, no, you're a public servant, you were elected, you're not king, you don't get to dictate to us, so it's just, I wanted to go back over that as far as oppression, there's a lot of people who are oppressed tax-wise in this country who don't even realize it. Hey, I'm doing all right. I got my big SUV and my boat and all this and everything, and hey, we get to go off on the weekends and all this, and life is good, and until it's not good, they're not going to question anything. Might take some things like that to shake them up, and and then people coming up, who are still on the lower rungs of society, think you're not taxed enough because they want more in social programs and everything ought to be quote unquote free, until they're actually making money and understanding things, and get beyond the learning curve that they're on. They won't understand it, but once they start going, oh, that's how everything works. When they start making more money and realize, hey, wait a minute, I ain't doing nothing but working to pay the government, and so I guess you got to kind of get that in between. You got to get to like where I am, where I'm like, hey man, I'm working 15 friggin' hours a day, and make all right money, but every time I make a little more money, it seems like the price of everything goes up. My rent has pretty much doubled since 2007. Price of equipment and everything out here has gone up. Fuel goes up and down. That's another thing. If Biden changes all the energy policies and everything, whatever, and we go back up to $4 a gallon or $5 a gallon for diesel fuel. Or if they throw in some kind of big ass, all these taxes, carbon taxes and shit. You know who that's going to get passed on to, don't you? You out there, the consumer. But hey, Trump was wrong for putting a tariff on China. It's going to cost you money. Well, the same if you tax the shit out of corporations, it's going to trickle down to you. You're going to pay the price. Same difference. But you're all for raising taxes. That's going to trickle down to you too. And the same thing if they put all these carbon taxes and shit and everything, that's all going to trickle down to you too. But it's wrong to put tariffs on goods coming into the country to try and balance things out. That was wrong. So that American companies could compete. That was wrong. But higher taxes and higher price of fuel, that all trickle down to you. That's okay. So, a lot of things, the news media, the education system, all the entertainment, all the things that keep people busy are all guilty of the dumbing down of the American citizen. No critical thought, no debate, no discussion. Just whoever can scream the loudest and who has the more funding from people on their sides. And it's like these activists who go out and say, oh, we need these social programs, this and that. A lot of these people want those things because they're skimming money off it. You get, we're going to have this state program in this state to do this and that. Well, and we're going to farm that out to this company or these people, this group or whatever. And then they're going to find some flunkies who they pay minimum wage to go out, whether it's to neighborhoods or hand out flyers or to go to school and talk something. And then the people at the top of that group or whatever is going to be taking the most of those state funds or whatever that are going into that social program and putting them in their pockets. It's just like with this COVID stuff where they've needed nurses here or there and everything like that and everything. The federal aid, the big money comes in, the state delegates that to these companies who procure stuff for the state. So, the state will say, hey, we'll give you $5,000 a month for each nurse you bring in here to handle this shit. So they go out across the country, they scope and they recruit nurses to come. Well, they're not going to get that $5,000. They're going to get the $2,000 or the $3,000 or whatever, and the rest is going. You see, there's big money in all of this stuff. Whenever the Fed doles out emergency relief money and stuff and everything, it's just like charities. You got to look at charities. Charities will take in a huge amount of money, and then very little of it reaches the people. It's all going to these people at the top, who also go to the states and get money from social programs and stuff, and use it. Hey, we're gonna go out and we're gonna do this for people and this and that. And 80% of it, 90% of it goes into the pockets of people running stuff, and it doesn't make it down to the people it's supposed to go to. So you need to wise up, America. All right, I'll let y'all go on that. Wish you all the best out there. God bless. We'll see you on the next one.